2 weeks ago, this shop in southeast London was selling toys to children. Now it's closed, the stock's been auctioned off and its owner is out of work. It's a depressing story, but an increasingly familiar one. Figures out today show that during 1991, businesses collapsed at the staggering rate of 199 a day. In London, 7,731 businesses failed. That's 48.1% more than last year. While in the rest of the southeast, 9,722 collapsed, a rise of 68.3%. And analysts say the recession will get worse before it gets better.
What we've seen in the fourth quarter of this year is the weekly rate of failures increasing against the third quarter. And historically, when we do start to come out of recession, you tend to get failures increasing during that period.
The facts and figures of the recession make gloomy enough reading, but what's sometimes forgotten is that behind every statistic, there's a human being who has to endure the shame of failure. A shame that drove this man to consider suicide 3 times.
It's just a case of, yes, you get to this brick wall and you have no one to turn to. And this is the dreadful thing, the thing that makes a lot of people suicidal. And at this time of year, when there's no future, no chance of regaining what you've lost, to some people, unfortunately, it is the only way out.
But despite the economic gloom, tomorrow the Prime Minister's New Year message is expected to insist that the government is on the right track. We've spoken to a businessman who was contemplating suicide because his business went bust. What would you say to him?
Well, that's obviously a tragic story. I don't know the reasons why his business was in trouble, but clearly that was a tragic story for him personally. Some businesses are in great difficulties because of the recession. Some are in great difficulties because they borrowed far too much money at the height of the credit boom in the 1980s. But I think what one's got to remember is that 40%, 2 out of every 5 new businesses, go out of business within 5 years.
In spite of everything, Graham Milne is now setting up a helpline to pass on what he's learnt through having to cope with business failure. He hopes his experience may stop others considering taking the path he so nearly took. Graham Magin, Thames News.